Hello, Kruthika.
Hello, Poonam.
How are you
Nice.
doing?
I'm doing good.
Good.
I just came back from a school session, so excited.
Wonderful. So, first of all, congratulations on getting admit offers from all the three schools you applied to: Kellogg, Wharton, and Stern. And Kellogg and Stern offered you scholarships also. So, how did it feel when you received these three offers?
Thank you, Poonam. I think the first was relief, right? The first thought I had was I was relieved to get the results back. Uh, the wait process was a little intense, the stress was there, and you had to, I think I was still doing my application for Stern while I finished the work for Wharton and Kellogg. And the wait process was a little stressful for me, but when I got the admission offer, I think Kellogg called me first and then followed by Wharton, followed by Stern. It was humbling and it was also a great sense of relief. That was the first thing. And the scholarships did make me, I think it made the validation real for me, and it made more sense that I managed to apply it during this time. I thought about this whole process very late, so it felt really good that I received admits, and the decision process was also quite intense.
Yeah, I know. But it happened that you selected Wharton. So we'll talk about that later. You have already attended orientation week. So I'm curious to know about your experience with the orientation week.
Well, the orientation happened for about 8 days. I think I went in on a Friday and started on a Saturday, and then it went all the way into the following Saturday. It was a very intense, fully packed schedule, and we had a chance. We were around 300 students coming from three different cohorts at Wharton, which is Philadelphia, San Francisco, and the global cohort. So it was our first chance to interact with every single cohort, which is 300 people is a lot of people to meet and acquaint yourself with within the first week. But they made the process in a way that you could interact with at least 50 to 70% of the crowd. It was very, very fast paced. We got introduced to the teaching methodology, how our weeks are going to look like, and a lot of networking opportunities.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of these MBA programs happen with teams. So we got introduced to our teams, and I tend to have the imposter syndrome a lot. And I think
I
the
know.
first week helped me um, get rid of that, at least momentarily, because there was a lot of collaboration. Everybody was open to communicating. The kind of people that I met, everyone was from very different background, very impressive backgrounds, but they were all very humble. They were willing to share, and we instantly made a lot of friends, right? So at this time, at this age, I think making genuine friendships, this was like a starting point to something that's going to be very special. And I'm looking forward to the next 2 years.
Yeah, I'm so happy to know that you enjoyed the orientation week.
It's a very exciting and very intense week.
But you look fresh after that experience. So
Yeah,
can
I
you?
think it taught me a lot that week, and I've also finished a couple more weeks, right? So I came back. Every time I go there, I feel a little bit more refreshed because you are stepping away from your normal routine and to take the role of a student, and you're there to learn and absorb. So that gives you that extra energy and motivation every time you go there. And when Alums told me about this early on, I wasn't believing it, but I'm seeing
Uh-huh.
it, yeah, now, and it's refreshing.
Good. So going to school after a long gap of about 2 decades or about
That
15 years.
10 years, 10, 11 years.
Oh, yes.
My
You did your
grad school
master's.
was, yeah.
Yeah. So after a decade.
It's different this time. Yeah,
True.
definitely with
Yeah,
kids and family.
exactly. And you will be interacting with the mid-career professionals who are as experienced as you are, who also have families like you have. So, can you briefly walk us through your academic and professional journey and the kind of work you do at the in the federal technology space?
Sure. So I grew up in India, and I most of my childhood years I was in Tamil Nadu in India. I did my bachelor's in electronics and instrumentation engineering at BITS Pilani. It was back in the early 2000s, and I started my career as a software consultant. I worked there for about 4 years, learning the basics of what software consulting is. And then I moved to the US with my husband after marriage. And here I was exploring opportunities, and I decided, okay, I'll pursue my master's at Virginia Tech. I had my master's in computer engineering at Virginia Tech. And soon after, I started working with Publicis Sapient as a senior software consultant. Um, I've been there since. It's been about 10 years. I just celebrated my 10th year anniversary here. And it's been a rewarding experience working with federal clients. The challenges are very different.
Yeah,
Um, and currently, I work as a software architect with Publicis Sapient, supporting the federal clients.
great. So, over the past 15 years, you have grown as a technology leader, managing large scale transformation initiatives. How do you think your leadership style has evolved over time?
So, I think leadership for me early on, I took my first leadership role back when I was in my first job as a software consultant. It was like, get your work done, give answers to your team and get the work done. So that was it. And after my master's, then I started working for Sapient again when I took on a leadership role for the very first time. Again, it was like, okay, you're given some tasks, you got to deliver it, you got to support your team so they can deliver it for you. Over time, it became about creating clarity and alignment with the
Hmm.
different stakeholders that you're working with. um, I think for me, it taught me a few important skills along the way. In the last 5, 6 years, I'd say I stay very calm under pressure. I'm working with different stakeholders, creating an alignment between them. I think working with federal clients or any clients, even
Hmm.
in the commercial space, I think you should prioritize integrity over just convenience. You have to create environments where people feel safe to work in. And the more I'm learning from this role, the more I realize that that's of utmost importance. The team should feel comfortable. Every member of the team should feel comfortable working with you. The role is less about being, the smartest person. There are people that are smart around. You work with smart people, so you will find answers one way or the other, but um, creating an environment where people can get aligned, and when there is a lot of high stakes situation, you are in a place where you can guide the team towards a decision or the group towards a decision. I think that's kind of where my leadership has evolved. And I think one specific aspect of how I like to lead is creating level tables. I've mentioned this in a couple of spaces,
Hmm.
otherwise in my essays as well, I think,
Yes.
um, where I get all the junior most people or the senior most people that I work with on a particular project. I get them in the same space and give them an equal opportunity to discuss, because I've noticed that in the current time and space, technology is growing at a very rapid pace, and it's very
Yeah.
easy for the junior most person to find the the best solution than one of the senior members who's still learning some of the nitty-gritties of today's technology.
Yeah, you
So
have
the
brought
way
up a very important point. Yeah.
So today you see AI within the last 1 year, things have changed a lot. In the last few years, we've seen cloud take a big space. So I've seen junior members be able to contribute successfully to some of the design discussions that we've had. Um, elements of solutioning that we've had. So I started creating these spaces where people can provide their a design or their solutioning without having to worry about, oh, I'm a junior, what am I going to, provide here? And I've seen that become very successful in the last few teams that I worked with, and the juniors that have given some of the successful decisions have gone on to, getting promoted, and they're in really good spaces now. So that makes me very happy.
Impressive. Yeah. Creating a safe and friendly environment so every team member can deliver their best. That's the key of your leadership style. So, what are your short term and long term goals?
In the short term, I'm looking to, so right now I am a software technology person. I want to shift slightly to taking on a more leadership oriented role where
Mm-hmm.
I'm able to guide transformation decisions, keeping in mind the financials or the capital allocation or the strategy part of what the company is looking toward. That's kind of my short term goal, I'd say somewhere at a director, senior director level where enterprise transformation is key.
So what motivated you to pursue an MBA at this stage of your life and career? And why did you specifically choose Wharton, Kellogg, and Stern?
Okay, why an executive MBA? I think I was moving between projects, and there was a time when I was thinking, okay, I enjoy all of this creating alignment and working with different stakeholders and being in the decision space as much as I enjoy the technology space. So I wanted to see if that transformation made more sense for me as I started um, thinking more about it. Became obvious that I do have some skills that I need to bridge before I can get into a decision-making space from where I am. And I'm currently a solutions an architect person. So going from here, I could keep doing this at different levels, or I could switch slightly and take on roles that involve strategy, that involve transformation,
Right,
decision making. So
right,
I thought that the EMBA, any MBA, but I landed with EMBA because it aligned closely with what I wanted to do,
exactly.
would help me bridge that gap. So I needed some skills on the finance side, on organizational strategy side, all of this. I think I'm already learning some aspects of why things are built the way they're built. The more I'm attending these sessions, and I think I've made the right decision there. I think your second part of the question was why did you specifically choose Wharton, Kellogg, and Stern? So Wharton, we all know it's one of the best schools with the best analytical rigor that they help you with so you can transform into this leader that you want to become. That was the reason I had Wharton in my list of schools, and that was naturally tending towards the top priority, top in the list for me for various reasons I'll get into in a minute. For Kellogg, it was more about collaborative leadership. Um, and for Stern, I specifically chose the DC campus. They have a campus right here in DC,
Mhm.
and the proximity. And again, they also covered all of the key areas that I wanted to grow in. Kellogg also offered all of that. And in the end, it became evident that I wanted to go to Wharton. After I
That
received the
was
offers, it
my
became
second part of question. I was coming to that, that you received scholarships uh, from the two programs, Kellogg and Stern, but still you went for Wharton that did not offer you a scholarship. So why Wharton was the best fit for you?
I think that was a tough decision, honestly, after I received the scholarship offers from both of these schools. With Kellogg, I ended up going to one of their sessions before I could make a decision. And the session made me sway more towards Kellogg because of the kind of person I am, it felt like a natural fit for me. But I
Mm-hmm.
also realized that the analytical rigor that I was looking to, that will push me just a little bit more, was was not seen as a big factor with respect to Kellogg, where it was more collaborative, and people were very collaborative, very friendly people at Kellogg. I could quickly get along with um, the crowd that I met with the other day. They were all very friendly, and it was very hard to say no at some point.
I mean,
But I think at end of the day, it made sense for me to choose Wharton because I've been in schools that have pushed me, and that has helped me grow one way or the other. So Wharton is definitely the best fit, and I'm seeing that more and more as I've started taking classes with them, that I made the right decision.
perfect. Yeah, I'm happy for you too.
Thank you.
So let's talk about the application process. Before we even started working on applications, I had you complete a detailed questionnaire of 25 questions. How did the process help you reflect on your experiences and identify stories for essays?
So before I went into the questionnaire level state, so I was looking at a couple of interviews and I knew it was coming, right? So, and people had spoken like, okay, the questionnaire kind of helps you with the entire process. And I got the questionnaire. I was basically thinking, okay, it's just going to be a list of my experience so far. But the way it was laid out, it helped me connect my past with my present and why my career is the way it is. And the decisions that I've made along the way,
Mm-hmm.
why did I decide something? So it made me reflect a lot on what happened with my life through my career and how my family and um, my other personal hobbies and passions also helped me become the person that I am. So it was less, I think it was more about looking at you as a whole person, which is essential while you're building an essay, or for that matter, now that I've gone through that questionnaire, I'd say that I look at uh, everything a little bit more, a little bit differently, because it helped you reflect a lot. The questionnaire is the source of how I've shifted my thought process toward, okay, I don't know if I can do this, to maybe I can do this,
Mm-hmm.
right? So, and then I think, Poonam, you know how I've had my, share of, okay, is this going to work out? Is this not going to work out? And all of that. But the questionnaire made, I think it was a good positive step in the application process for me.
And you did a great job with it. I remember you submitted a 45-page questionnaire that reviewed. So it was like a mini autobiography.
I think that helped me reflect. So the more I wrote, the more I thought about why things are the way they are. So it was amazing, the experience of just filling out the questionnaire. It took some time for me to fill it out, but the work, it was interesting, the way you set up questions and how I could, I think there were some aspects of the questions where how your family made you become the person you are,
Yeah,
or how your family influenced who you are today, or how your mentor or someone from your past influenced who you are today, and how along the way you changed from being one person to becoming a different person.
true.
So that narrative that the questionnaire brought about, it was really well done, the set of questions, and I enjoyed
Thank
working through
you.
the process.
Thank you. I enjoyed going through it. Business schools don't only want to know about your professional accomplishments, they also want to know about your personal self, who you are as a person. So,
Yeah.
so despite your strong profile, you sometimes experience self-doubt during the application process. So I'm wondering, do you think imposter syndrome is common among high achieving professionals? Because I've seen it with other applicants also. That's why. I am asking this question.
Think it is. Now that I am at school and I'm talking to other professionals who've accomplished a lot in their
Mhm.
life. I mean, I'm looking at it from an outsider perspective, but when I talk to them, they have similar, the imposter syndrome creeping in once in a while. And now that we've just finished our first midterms, that's I've seen that, show up quite a lot, and I think it's common. And it is also reflective of the person you are. For everyone who's going through their success journey, career journey, this will come in at some point in their lives because they all they hear from people is probably the good side of things, unless you're very close to that person. Like, am I even that good? Can I do this really? And then you start reflecting, okay, I'll do my best, and I think we'll get there. And alongside, I've had mentors like you throughout my life, and they've built that confidence in me. It still creeps in. You know how many times I've spoken to you about this. It still creeps in, but
Oh, yeah.
um, mentors like you have always helped me work through the process. And I've had my family also be very supportive of this. Oh, you can
Mhm.
do this. And I mean, the whole deciding to, okay, I'll apply for an EMBA, that requires a lot of,
True.
that itself, I think my family has been very supportive through that. That helped me
Mhm.
through the process.
I had more confidence in your profile than you had in your own profile. And
I
I
think
kept emphasizing it throughout the application process.
so. At some point, I think I believed in what you said because you've seen so many people go through this process, and you know enough about the application process, and I trusted you with the process as
Thank you.
well. So.
Thank you. And here you are. So, which essay prompt across Wharton, Kellogg, and Stern challenged you the most? And what did you learn about yourself working on that particular essay prompt?
Essay prompt. I think the contributions essay, which was there with the couple schools, or maybe even all three, that was probably the hardest essay for me to work with. You could do goals because you kind of know what you're in here for. And there were some other questions that spoke about what's the current day challenge and all of those details. So that also, I'd say, given today's time and place, picking something very concrete was difficult. But contributions essay, I mean, you're going to a school to because you want something, but what do
Mhm.
you have to give? And especially in EMBA, I'm not sure about the regular MBA, but for EMBA,
It's the
the
same.
application decisions, right? So they depend on not just who you are and who the other person is, but what you can bring to the community. Because we're admitting, especially I think in the EMBA, it matters even more because we learn from each other as much as we learn from the classroom.
Of course.
So it is very important that they pick the right people and complementary to each other, right? So I haven't seen a lot of people like me, like especially working deep in technology. So
Mhm.
I might be bringing something that is
Of course.
going to be useful for a different sector of people that have never seen what it is like to be behind the scenes, creating whatever they're seeing in front of the screen. So uh, contributions is not, I mean, besides just your work, core work, what else can you bring as a person to the
Exactly.
space? So I think that was the toughest one for me to work through, and I think maybe that was the one essay where I had to rewrite the whole thing. I can't remember, but might have been one of those essays where like, okay, I'll scratch the whole thing and
Uh-huh.
do it again.
Because you need to be specific
Exactly.
in what specific way you will enrich the school or contribute to the school. And the more specific it is, the more impactful, the more impressive it is.
Mhm.
Now let's talk about resume, which is your first introduction to the AdCom. I always say resume is your first introduction to the AdCom. So would you like to share your thoughts on the MBA resume we built?
Sure. Yeah, I think resume is one of the interesting aspects while you're in a non MBA space coming into, I mean, non-business space and trying to apply for a business goal. And I think I shared my earlier resume with you, which was very technology oriented. I was talking about what accomplishments I had with technology. And I did have this thought of, I don't know what I can say about um, all of this from a business space, right? But working through the process with you, it helped me align with, okay, so I do have all of these accomplishments that I can mm, make, make seen in a way that MBA admissions process will be, will look at my profile like, okay, this person is a technology person, but she has accomplished something that we are looking for in a technology person from a business perspective. So going through that process with you helped me align with what I have achieved so far, moving into the next step of the process. So the doubts that I had also stemmed from that. So I'm a very technology focused person. How much can I, polish my resume in a way that yeah, I can shape it for an MBA admissions? But I think you've helped me work through all of that. And honestly, working from that to today, if I were to update my resume for a different reason, I would definitely take all of the tips that you've given through the process in helping edit that resume to fit that necessary profile, or how to go about trimming down the excess and just keep the resume focused on the very important pieces for that fit for the specific need.
And your experience is so extensive, 15 years of work experience, awards that you have won, publications that you have had published, and extracurricular activities. Your non-work experience was so extensive. It was really difficult. It was really a challenge what to
What to
present
trim?
and what to skip. Your initial resume was the initial
Four,
resume we created was 4 pages,
4 pages long.
and 2 pages is a limit. We cannot go
So yeah,
beyond two
I
pages.
had
We had
doubts
hard
if I
time
could. Yeah.
squeezing it to 2 pages and still presenting everything that was impressive, that was
I think it was very
impactful.
impressive where the resume got to, because 4 pages was when I think I we started, but before that, I've had discussions with my husband who'd say, why do you have a 6 page resume? Can you trim some of it? So it was interesting that we could trim it down to 2 pages and still contain everything there, and every single word mattered.
Yeah,
And when I was submitting it for I mean, I think some of the schools also needed your resume as a first
yeah,
pre-application
yes.
process. I think Stern needed it. And
Wharton also needed it, I believe.
Wharton did not really need it. Stern needed it, and I think there are some schools that say, okay, why don't you throw your resume out here and we'll tell you if you are a fit for this school or not. So I did throw my resume into a couple other schools that were not in the final list for me, and all of them came back with very positive, outlook for how the application should go. I don't think I've mentioned this also. I did receive emails from Cardinal saying, okay, we will give you an admit with scholarship. We'll
Mhm.
start here, and then, you go about it. So a resume giving so much confidence in a
Oh, yeah,
person's profile, think it speaks a lot for you.
yeah, of course. And it was worth it. Some full-time MBA admits have told me that the resume they built with me helped them with their job search also.
Definitely.
They
I mean,
use the
I
same
use
for
that
this
as my
job too.
baseline, and now anything that I want to build going forward will be baselined off of this one that we used.
Yeah. So, along with your demanding career, you are also a mother of two young children. How did you manage the EMBA application along with your uh, work and family responsibilities? And now the school has also started, so this is one extra commitment that you are fulfilling along with your other tons of responsibilities. So how are you managing it? How did you manage with the application process and how you are managing it with school?
Sure. I think when I made the decision that I want to apply, I I wasn't thinking that it is going to be this intense. I reached out to you and I knew you were going to help me with edits, but the moment we started the process, it started getting a little bit like, okay, I do not have the time. I started having this thought, okay, I need to prioritize what I wanted to do throughout the day or even over the weekends. And I'd either set aside some time in the evenings and I would do my weekends. I'd do spend a couple hours editing some portion of the application and then thinking through the entire process. You definitely helped me streamline that with the questionnaire and then out helping me with how it should be laid out and all of that. But thinking through this process and coming up with, okay, these are the salient features that needed to be presented in the through the essay process. And honestly, I felt three schools was a bit overwhelming. At some point, I felt like maybe I should have just stuck to two schools and maybe it would have been a little bit more cleaner for me to think through everything. Sometimes we were working in parallel, just switching over between different applications, and that also took some extra effort from my side. And at the time, work was also a little hectic when we had just started. So I've heard from a few people that they are still able to spend an hour or two here and there between work. I normally never have time to do anything like that, so my work goes beyond the 5 p.m.
Mm.
also sometimes. So my kids started thinking, okay, mom's going to be here in this room. She's going to be typing out some little documents, and they've seen you with me in a video a few times, and
I know
so
in one
she's
of the
going to be
video
talking
calls I
to
saw your son.
someone over video, and she's up random times. She's sleeping. I'm a very hands-on mother, so we co-sleep. So it's very difficult for me to step away from that responsibility. Even today, I think I'm still trying to understand how to work through all of that. But it's about prioritization. It's about understanding what you want and how much time you want to spend on it, and what you can realistically do and not do. Right?
And you
So
were also preparing for
the
EA.
executive
You took
assessment.
EA also twice during that process, which
Right.
added to the stress.
So I think the hardest part was balancing EA and application process as a whole is pretty intense, which I didn't realize until later in the process.
Everybody
And then
tells me.
I brought in, okay, I'm also doing EA, so I know we worked through this. Okay, Puna, maybe we'll have to be a little bit flexible, and you were very supportive of that. But through all of this EA preparation, I think it pushed me beyond my limits,
Yeah.
and I did it once. I didn't score the number that I expected. Um, I wasn't happy with it, but I knew I could make it work. I wasn't so confident, though. I spoke to a few people, including you, and I spoke to the admissions folks as well, who help the EMBA students specifically to say, okay, is this enough, or should I do a little bit more? Is there like a threshold that you want to cross? Uh, but I did the second round. I didn't have enough time to prepare between the first and second rounds, and it was around
You were
Thanksgiving and
so
Christmas.
stressed.
And work-wise, also things were a little too overwhelming. I had family events around the same time.
I know.
So it's like, okay, I'll just go give it. So I basically went from between one there was a month's time between the two exams, and I must have put in like a week's effort in all of the 4 weeks, and that week's effort was again reviewing the basics. So if I were to think about doing the whole thing all over again, I would do it just once and move on, because that's like one portion of the process. And if your application is strong in other areas, this would compensate. I mean, it should be fine. Even if you talk to some of these, the admission committee folks, they would tell you that this is one bucket of your application. And there are several other areas where we pull from to understand if you are a
Yeah,
balanced,
they take a holistic view of the
holistic view of the
application. That's
application.
true. But getting the GMAT, GRE, or EA in your case out of the way before you start applications is the best strategy.
I think that is the best
And
strategy to
we
do it.
always advise people to just get the test out of your way. So that way you will just be free of
I
that
agree completely.
stress, and you will only have to handle the application aspects of the journey, which itself is very demanding.
But I'll tell you one thing, right? So I decided that I'll apply very late in the process, and I couldn't have spent 2 months or a month and a half prepping for EA, wrapping it up, and then starting the process. It had to happen in parallel. And I'm sure there are people like me who decide, okay, I'll just apply. And then it's right at round one deadlines that I decided I'm going to do this year.
Yeah,
So
I know that. But people who take the test before starting applications, they
they
find it
probably, yeah, and they
manageable.
probably score much
And
better
yeah,
also.
yeah.
And they would be in a place where they are not worried about the score pulling them down
Exactly,
in any way.
exactly, because that lowers your confidence level also. And you never know, life happens. What all happens during those several months that we work together on the applications? You got sick twice. So we have to consider those factors also that we are not prepared for. And still we were so brave enough to navigate through those sickness periods also. So but it takes a toll.
It
It
does.
takes a huge toll on your physical health.
Yeah.
But it's all done. You uh, did it all very bravely. And one of the most unique aspects of your profile that I have mentioned a number of times during the application process also was your creative side, your art studio, stationery design, journaling, and so many community engagement initiatives. So, how do you think that this non-work side of your personality, this creative side of personality, strengthened your application?
I think in every aspect of the application that we went through, so especially the essay part, I was able to draw a different angle to my profile, just because of the creative aspect of what I do. So for me, I reflect a lot either through sketching or through journaling, and sometimes I just sit down with a thought and write for a couple, I don't know, sometimes I've written for hours, and it's helped me navigate life's difficult situations. And has become one with me. So I enjoy working with other creative people. And currently, I'm in the process of also creating a custom fountain pen and an ink with
Yes.
with one of the companies that exist in the US.
You have
They're
mentioned that in your
in one
resume
of
as
the
well.
essays as well. So I think working through all of these processes has helped me or reflect who I am and what I want to do. And in the essays, I think this came out in a way that all of this is one piece, right? So it kind of brought everything together. So if you read through, I was reading through my essay the other day, and I'm
Hmm.
like, okay, all of these pieces are interconnected in some way as a person for me. And I'm seeing that also at school, where I have been helping my cohort students with some of the infographics, and think a lot of my creative side has something to do with it. And a lot of students are benefiting from it. And I want to hold at some point some of these reflection sessions, because people, I think a lot of us exercise, we do our running, walking, jogging, whatever be it. But this is another way to meditate
It's a mental
and
exercise.
reflect about yourself. And the more you do it, I think the more creative you become. And the more reflective you are about yourself, you're able to make better decisions. And some things you just need to set aside. And now I've learned, I think, slowly to set aside some things because of reflecting through some of the nuances that I've seen through life. So it's one with me, and having a creative side to you any day, even if you start today, I think having that creative side will help you along the way.
True.
And it's interesting. I just remembered just talking to this to the Stern interviewer, not Stern,
Uh-huh.
Kellogg interviewer, and they mentioned that they also have the sketching habit, and we were able to connect on that sketching
Hmm.
aspect of it, how they were doing sketching and they fell off of it, and reading through the some of parts of my application helped them, revisit some of it. So it was interesting, and you
Yeah, I
could
remember
connect with
you told
people.
me that in the beginning she talked about your non-work interests, and again towards the end of the interview, she again talked about your extracurricular activities, mainly sketching.
Sketching, yeah, I think it's a good way to connect with people. And people always want to explore different ways of reflecting or just relaxing. So this
Right.
is one of the ways that I think I can help people connect, even where I am today. With Wharton, I think it's very stressful, the kind of schedule that you have combined with your
Yeah,
personal life schedule.
true.
So such sessions will help people relax and be in their own space and still come up with something beautiful in the end.
Yeah, I agree. And people have different ways of relaxation. Some people do it with music, some people do it with sports, with playing, and some people equate with sketching, journaling. So we have different ways of uh, reconnecting with ourselves
Mhm.
and
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
re-energizing ourselves. So, looking back on the entire application journey, what are the key factors behind your success at all the three schools we collaborated on?
I think it was about being consistent, not just in the immediate, the applications process matter a lot. Right? So you are deciding that you want to do an MBA because you've come to a point in life where you want to take the next big step. So you're already there at some point in the career, and then through the process, you have to be consistent. Um, and reflect through what you really want to tell the admissions committee, because they are not looking to see what you've accomplished, just what you've accomplished. It's a holistic process, like we said earlier, and keeping consistent with it. And I think one of the things that a few of the we were talking about this between different students. Um, Doing a last minute thing is not something, and a
Right.
process such as this will is going to help with. And the moment you see the questions and the reflection for the question that you need to do, you quickly realize that this is going to take time. And for you to produce your best application, you'll need to sit down with it in a quiet space, do whatever reflection you want to do. And I think your process that you have set up helps a lot with that reflection. And Of course, every portion of the application matters. So toward the end, what it helped me understand that it's not just application, it's just looking at you as a person and
Right.
how you will fit within that community. So for us to get there from where we are today, I think that's the process.
True. And give yourself time. Don't you think
I
that
think so.
it's not something you can rush through? To be successful, you have to give yourself enough time to work on your applications. And I think we took about 6 to 7 months.
It took about 6 months, yeah, I think so, from start to finish, and by the time we received our results.
And throughout the period, I've seen you have been so committed, so dedicated, disciplined, and methodical, following my suggestions, offering your thinking, your feedback, and you have been really a client, a mentee everyone would look for. The only thing that worried me throughout the application process was you took too much stress.
I think so, and I probably still do.
Yeah,
That's one portion that I'm
I
trying
am
to
saying
work with.
it here because I want to tell people work on the application but enjoy it. Do not take so much stress because at the end of the day, what is most important is your health. So enjoy it, give yourself enough time, be methodical, be diligent, be consistent, do everything that you can, but do not take so much stress. A little bit of anxiety is okay because without that, we won't be regular with our work. We won't be committed to our work. But whether it is application process or helping people with their applications, like the role of a consultant, stress, too much stress, excessive stress doesn't help.
I think that is this advice from you. I'm working. I'm trying to work through that even today because applications process along with EA is it's kind of a window to seeing what's coming up once you're admitted and you are going to be in it for the next 2 years. So with I just finished my wrapped up my first midterm Friday, and
Okay?
one thing that was pushing me was still the previous weekend. I was pretty stressed out because work was, at a state where I'll have to deliver it. I cannot delay any further. And school was also equally demanding. I had submissions to make, I had to study, and there were readings that were piling up. So I think at some point it helped really to slow down and think
Right.
through what you want to do, how you want to do it. It's in the end of the day, you are going to be good at what you're doing. You're going to get your MBA. You will have that much confidence as you're going in.
Of
But how
course.
you get through it, the process of it, will need
Right.
to be diligent and disciplined. Of course, people who've got into an EMBA program that is rigorous, they know that they can be disciplined, but combined with your work, your life,
It's
your kids,
very challenging.
and it's summer now, so my kids are home like pretty much all
I,
the time. And
I know.
mom, can I spend some time with you? So that's become like something that I have to manage even emotionally. And it's not just me, it's everyone in my family who's helping me accommodate to this new life, and they are themselves accommodating their life to help support me.
Of
So
course.
I think in end of the day, it is more of the process and the prioritization that you manage to do. That's going to help you relieve yourself of some stress as you're going through this process. And I'm still learning because this is my first time. I'm still trying to settle into how I need to adjust my life and other priorities to support this new MBA process that I've taken on. But I think I'll get there.
You
I
will.
will
Of
soon
course
get
you
there.
will. I'm confident.
Yeah,
You
I
are a
think
high
coming from the
achiever.
midterm has given me some confidence. Okay, so this is how you got to do it, and this is how you prioritize things. And I'm trying to make a mental model for things, and probably it'll soon start showing in how I work through things.
Yeah, you have family support, and you are, as we know, you are so committed, you are so diligent, hardworking, want to, you will give, you are a perfectionist. Let me say it in just one
I'm
sentence.
trying to
Having worked
hardly.
with you for 6 months, I know I have found you to be a perfectionist. And uh, I think that is part of the reason that causes stress and anxiety because you want to give your best to everything. So you will navigate through this. You will do a great job. And it was wonderful talking to you, Kruthika, today. Thank you so much for your time today. You took the time from your busy schedule, so busy schedule, and I really appreciate it. And stay in touch. Have a great time at Wharton, and I would like to know when you graduate or how it's going. So have a great day.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
Poonam. It was really good having this experience, sharing this experience with you. And I hope other students who come to you benefit from it. And it was a really amazing experience working with you. I think I learned a lot from you, not just about the application and the process, but about life, how to, prioritize and de-stress and keeping anxiety low. And I think about you very often as I'm in
Thank
school
you.
or preparing for school. Okay, so maybe yeah, I should step back, think about it a little bit differently. So thank you for being my mentor, and I'll definitely be in touch with you. I'll keep updating you about how things
Yeah,
go.
sure.
And
I would
yeah,
look forward to hearing from you. And it was really great working with you and knowing you as a great professional, a devoted mother, and a very good mentee with whom I enjoyed working. And I would love to stay in touch. Bye.
definitely.